Welcome to Innovate or Evaporate, the podcast where we explore the relentless pace of change and the innovators who drive it. Every episode, we dive deep into the world of cutting-edge ideas, breakthrough technologies, and the fearless pioneers who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Today's guest is Jann Mardenborough, a name that has redefined the intersection of gaming and motorsport. From winning the GT Academy as a teenager to becoming a professional race car driver, Jann's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. His story, recently depicted in the hit movie Gran Turismo, is a testament to how passion and innovation can transform dreams into reality. Along the way, he's challenged conventional paths, embraced technology, and proven that with the right mindset, the seemingly impossible can be achieved. If you're ready to fuel your mind and accelerate your vision, stay tuned, because it's Innovate or Evaporate.
We are here at Rally, and today you are our closing keynote at Rally this year, which I'm super excited about. And I think we have the title From Gamer to Racer.
Yep, that's me. I'm happy to be here and to share my story, my career, my life over the last, 13 years of getting into the sport a unusual way through gaming. I was just a regular guy who loved racing games as a kid. I'm a millennial, early 90s born, so played racing games all my life. When I was a teenager, had the whole talk of family when I'm doing my exams in school. Can't play the game because you have to do study. I've had all of that, and fortunately was in the right place at the right time, but could see an opportunity to fulfill my purpose, my dream, which is to be a professional racing car driver.
So there's the old adage that to master anything, you have to do it for 10,000 hours. By the time you graduated from high school, how many hours do you think you spent sim racing?
I had this question last year doing some promo, and I did have the number in my head, how many hours on average I'd probably played a day since age 8. And I think it probably averages around maybe 3, I think, over a long period of time up until probably age 20, 21. So every day, I think I'm probably around that 10,000 hour moment to be, an expert in that industry.
Right.
And yeah, I fully believe that. You have to 10,000 hours of anything, you'll become an expert in that. So part of the so I told you a story. You were in Indianapolis, right, for Rev in early May to kick off the Indianapolis 500 the month of May. But I will. There was one night where my brain was kind of racing. I was thinking about innovation, all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I just gotta watch something to kind of chill out. I came across Gran Turismo, on Netflix. I watched it that night, and I think it ended at 1:30 in the morning. And I was inspired by your story on, many levels. And I want to come back to some of the things with the competition and how you navigated through that, because no doubt there were some probably personal and professional storms of figuring out how you navigated getting into a race car on a real world track. But what struck me was several things. Number one, the proverbial, if you're really into a passion as a kid, a lot of times parents, are like, hey, you got to study more or else, you're not going to amount to anything concept. And then also with all the AI tools out there in the virtual technology happening, companies are going to know who are really good at various tools. And back in the 70s, Nike, right, started doing shoe deals with high school kids. And what really struck me was, oh my gosh, all these companies, we're going to be able to see college kids, high school kids, middle school kids who are really great at these AI tools, and that's how we're going to recruit talent in the future. Companies are going to go into the schools and offer scholarships or signing bonuses or whatever to get kids to commit to their company no matter what. Maybe they go to college first before they come. So how do you ever think about that? Like how this changes how people find each other, right? How careers and people find each other over time with the introduction of all these new tools that people use just because they're passionate about it. Well, it's, industry keeps moving on, whether it's directly involved in motorsport and things around it, but also, no, I haven't thought about those tools unless
until you told me about that.
Yep.
So I found that really interesting that you saw that, and you saw something completely kind of not what I would have thought somebody had gotten from the movie, which I
Right.
find quite interesting. But if I go to, say, social media, TikTok,
Yep.
those tools that they have on there, there's people now that are kids, they're in school, and they create these fantastic montage videos of just clips that they've figured out themselves how to use the tools on that app to create such an awesome, professionally done looking video.
Yep.
With those tools. So if there's somebody who is, and there's AI tools out there currently now, my knowledge of that isn't so great, but there's current AI tools for editing videos out there currently, and people are hiring these people. I can certainly see that in the future,
Yeah.
where they're that specialized, because if you've grown up with that,
Yeah.
you're an expert in that, even though you may be 13, 14, 15 years old, compared to somebody who's been in the traditional industry and using tools that they haven't grown up with. The guy who's young, or the girl that's young, is obviously going to be better than the person not involved directly in that industry from a young age, from the inception.
So let's talk about the transition from the sim racer, and you see this competition that Nissan comes up with this idea, they're going to do this competition, and you join this tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us a little bit about, I want to talk about the experience of, fear. Like, did you have fear, anxiety, when you entered into that competition? How did that progress? And then we'll talk a little bit more about when you got into the actual race car.
There was low amount of fear. I was 19 when I entered, and because it was my dream, I never let that light go out when I was a kid, or even when I was a teenager. I'd never say publicly I wanted to be a racing driver, because I knew how stupid that sounded. So
Interesting.
wild. And my best friend actually spoke to me the day after the movie came out. He went to see it, and he had a bit to drink in a pub, and he saw it in the movie, and the next day we were at a bar, and he said to me, "Bro, you never told me that was your dream, to be a racing driver." And it's true, I never spoke to anybody about it, because from past experience being a kid, if you say anything kind of out there that isn't really, especially in the UK, that isn't really the norm, you're hammered. And protecting that, I think, is very important. I think that's globally. You control your there's certain things you say, certain things you don't, because you want to control that environment. But there was no fear, really, because this is what I had the conversation to myself. Whatever I need to do to become the best driver I can be, I'm all in.
You knew you were born to do it.
Yeah.
It's almost, somehow it's just going to will it to happen.
It's the mindset. Sport is 90% mindset, I believe, and I'm very. That is what I want to do. That is what I believe I'm here on earth to do. And whatever I have to do to make that happen and to be the best at that I can personally be, I'm all for it. So whether it be missing out on things, there's lots of sacrifices you make, but it's like anything, you pursue anything, there's certain things that are going to get left behind, and there's certain things that you focus on that are going to elevate. And then that's life.
Yep.
And then you have to, maybe there'll be points in time where you can bring up those things that have been neglected through your life. And to be a bit more balanced as a human. But I believe when you're certainly before you're 20 years old, in your early 20s, your teenage years, you have to hyper focus on something.
So now, did you win the competition, or one of several winners, or how did that?
I won the competition.
You won the competition.
It ended at there was 12 finalists at Silverstone. Same in the movie as it showed. 12 finalists, and they're whittled down through the event, and there's a winner crowned for my final race around Silverstone, and I was the victor of that. And then the training starts.
Yes.
Then that's like the first part. Now you got to get your international license.
Right.
Lots of racing around the UK and around the world. And my prize was this one race in real life, to do this race in Dubai. And that was meant to be it. Nice to meet you. Thanks. Goodbye. Have a nice life. That was meant to be my prize, because that was the competition. One prize, one race in Dubai. And in Nissan and Sony at the time said, "Look, you've done really well. We like you. You've shown potential." And Nissan took me on for the following year. In 2012, I raced in GT3, a level called GT3. They raced in America, in IMSA as well. and continued to race as a professional, work myself up through the ranks in various competitions, single-seaters, GTs, prototypes. But yeah, it started from the gaming, and now I'm still continuing to race to this day with another car, no longer with Nissan, but with another manufacturer, and continue to do that into next year. Target would be to do 2 championships, hopefully one in IMSA. That would be great, because America, you are really pushing motorsport, especially in Indianapolis. There's a lot of people coming here not only for IndyCar but also for IMSA. Teams being based here that do both championships, so there's a lot of potential here. It's grown a lot, and also some racing in Europe and Japan as well. That's the target.
So how have you had to reinvent yourself as you move from sim racing into this one race was supposed to be the first prize, and then you get signed, and then you've been in several different types of cars over the years. What types of things have you come across where you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I would have to reinvent myself or adapt or adjust, to the various things as you navigate this racing journey?
Well, I think about gamers where have this now, not so much because it's grown a lot, but gamers, say 11 years ago, you're seen as some couch potato eating what you call potato chips in front of the TV for 10 hours a day. Not fit at all, and certainly no social skills. And so this is something which I very early on had to learn to do, to be able to talk to people, talk in front of a camera, talk to interviewers,
right,
and talk to press, know what to say, know when to say certain things. The politics in the sport as well, which is something which you will learn in anything. It's who you know in the sport as well plays a big difference. It's not just, I used to believe that it's just a stopwatch, but that was very naive of me for many years, and it worked for a long time. When you're in a bubble of certain industry with people around, when that goes away, you need to know people very closely and positioning. So there's a lot of things off track which you learn. It's just in life. And then fitness, of course, in motorsport is a big deal. You certain training methods, continue to develop in that. I use a lot of smart watches, fitness apps that monitor my heart rate, my sleep, my strain, my intensity, and how to adapt my food for my training, but also to live life as well, not to be so regimented, because we have one life. But also, if I can do that, be 95% perfect, and have that margin of, okay, I'll have a beer, I'll have some cake, I'll miss a training day.
You have to live a little.
There's that, but you have to go one complete side to come back a bit. So I'm still learning on that as well. Yeah, constantly developing.
So when I go to these go-kart racetracks, that you can pay your $50 or $100, and I race, I do my little, where you're skidding around, and you get done, and my forearms are just exhausted. What am I doing wrong?
You're gripping on too tight. It's the week after GT Academy at Silverstone, I'd never driven so many cars in such a short space of time, and I had pains in my arms and my hands. It's like I've never felt this pain before. But that just comes with time. It's like going to the gym for the first time in a long time. You're working muscles that haven't been worked, you get sore. Whereas in motorsports, it's very unique muscles that you don't really work day to day. So there's muscles behind your neck, which when I drove a Formula car, I didn't know I had muscles there. But yeah, gripping too tight to the steering wheel, got to relax. You're in a go-kart, you are the damper. You are the shock absorber in a go-kart. You are part of the suspension. So if you have a big effect on the suspension part of the car. So if you're super tight, you are going to feel everything.
Rigid.
You're going to feel, you hit a curb, you hit something, you're feeling everything. So you've got to loosen up a little bit, which is extremely hard if you haven't done that for a long time, because everything's coming at you fast, because it's not routine.
That's almost like a life lesson, right? Sometimes you gotta, Jesus take the wheel. There's a song about that. Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah, it comes from bad. I would say not bad times. I believe everything in life it happens for you.
Yeah,
it's a mindset switch, not to you. It happens for you. So you saying that, I believe that. Like, I used to believe there was an image in my head of I am the captain of an old pirate ship with the vest, with the sails, controlling the ship in the rough seas. I am just the guy behind what's called the yoke or the steering, wherever, you know what I'm on about.
Yep.
Navigating, and I have the ultimate control. And there's certain lessons that life will teach you, certain subtle things messages presented to you, and if you ignore them, they'll go away, but then they'll come back stronger, and they'll come back, if you ignore them then, they'll come back even bigger, and then there'll be a huge wave that'll just take you off complete course anyway, and then you have to sit down and go, okay, what was life telling me at these certain times? So I've gone through that in my career, where I've learned to develop myself. You take it both two ways. You can either crumble, or you learn from it, and you adapt yourself to get better and to get back up fighting again. So I've had that in my career as well. Within recently, it's not shown in the movie, but recently, and I'm here to fight and to continue the good fight and to push on and be the best I can be and have my effect on the sport as well. Which I want to in the future. I want to have my own team, to have people who, through PlayStation or through forms of computers, have a similar chance to enter the sport the same way I did.
Yep.
Because we can cast a wide net of people, and there'll be somebody like me who has talent that wouldn't be unearthed unless they had an opportunity like me. I'm not a fool. I understand most, it's very expensive, but at least if I have my own team, I can control a variable with that to help have someone like me come into the sport. So yeah, that only comes through experience of having negative events, but also positive, because you adapt. Life tells you, okay, you need to upgrade this area of your life because clearly you're lacking.
I love it. Well, Jann, welcome back to Indy. I truly believe that we are going to see you in the Indianapolis 500 race someday. I hope that happens soon. And we welcome you. We hope that Indianapolis can be a second home for you, a home away from home. And then someday, I love it. You're gonna have a racing team. I can see it. I can see it now. And so congratulations on all the hard work and the perseverance, the blood, the sweat, the tears. And it's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you, Tom.
This episode was brought to you by Rally, the Global Cross-Sector Innovation Conference. Learn more at rallyinnovation.com.